Hey, everybody. Welcome in to our Saturday Night Live. Uh, Tonight, we are going to be discussing kind of a touchy subject for some, and that's going to be bed bugs on cruise ships. And if y'all have any questions, feel free to ask. Uh, because, we've looked up some of the most common questions people might ask about bed bugs on a cruise ship. And we will be going over those questions and answers. One of the questions that had been asked was, how common are they? They're not that common. They do happen, but probably less common than in hotels and stuff like that. But it does happen from time to time. They can be brought on by, if you stay in a hotel or something like that has them, and you're not aware of it, they could come in on your luggage, maybe the clothes you're wearing, but they do make their way, just not very often. And the other questions people may ask is how do cruise ships, and welcome in, Lady Susan.
Hello. Happy Saturday night.
Of course. Doesn't matter what we do. She always waits till we sit down and start doing something to get our attention. It's like she knows. Hey, Susanna, thank you for coming in. Glad to be here. Glad you're here. In case you missed it, we're talking about bed bugs on cruise ships and how common they are. Because it does happen. In fact, on the last cruise ship that we were on, we had a patron or a guest. Yeah, where I work, we call them patrons, and so I was having a hard time trying to figure out what to call them. But it was a co-guest on the cruise ship that claimed that she had some in her cabin and how they dealt with it. But some of the cruises will, once you report it, they will go ahead and come in and inspect your room, and if they can find any evidence or whatever, they'll spray it. More than likely, they will spray the room anyway, just to keep keep from missing one. Because if it's not an actual infestation, they may not see it. If it's one that may have hitchhiked in on you or maybe the previous guest, they just may not be able to find it or evidence of it, so they'll go ahead and spray the room. Some of the information that I had gotten said that some of the cruise lines will turn the rooms up to 120 degrees, which that seems awfully high for a cruise ship to be able to get the room that hot. Hey, Bill, welcome in.
Freedom was that hot when we were on it.
Well, yeah, that's true. Thanks for joining us this evening. Didn't know if you were going to be on a cruise ship this time or what. But if you want to be in on the panel, just send me a private, little private message, and I can send you the link. We're kind of talking about bed bugs on the cruise ships. We had a guest on our recent cruise that claimed she had them in her room. And so we thought, this might be a decent topic. Hadn't really heard it discussed before. But so we thought, whoops, lost my notes. So we thought it might be a decent topic. Let's see, try to get this up so I can see if anybody. Chat history is missing. All right, there we go. All right. Just let me know if you want in, and I'll look for a private message and send you a link, or I can send you, just let me know, and I'll send you a link through private messenger. But and then One of the other things people might ask is if they can sue the cruise line. Okay, they might ask if they can sue the cruise line if they get bed bugs. I would think on something like that, you would have to prove that they knew about it and didn't do anything, because they're so common, because they are getting common. And who's to say you didn't bring them in with you, or the person that just left the cabin didn't leave them there, and that they didn't have it, they didn't know about them, so they didn't know to do anything about it. But they do say in some of the information that I dug up, a lawsuit the settlement could range anywhere from 10,000 to 80,000. But again, I think you would have to prove that they knew about it, or that they weren't doing anything about it. Okay. Thought something looked strange. Yeah, because they can come, especially with the amount of people. I'm really surprised they don't have more problems with them, with the amount of people that they have running through those cruise ships. They get rid of 3,000 or 4,000 one day, and have on that same day they get 3,000 or 4,000 more.
Stop.
And they just, people stay at hotels and stuff like that. So I'm surprised they don't have more problems with them. But apparently it's not real common of a problem. What should you do if you encounter bed bugs when you're traveling? And some of the stuff can actually apply to your home, or just hotels, or whenever you're going anywhere. If you find signs of them, let them know right away. A lot of times they'll come in and inspect, or they should come in and inspect to see if there actually is signs of bed bugs. And if there is, they'll move you to a different room so they can treat it. Make sure if you do encounter them, make sure you shake out your clothing real good. Check your luggage real good. Try to use a bright light, that way, because they don't like light. And if you can, seal the clothes up in a bag. The stuff that you're not going to use, seal them up in a bag real good, so that when you move from one room to another, you're just not transporting them with you. Some of the other questions that have been asked is, do you have to throw away your clothes if you have bed bugs? No, most of the times the bed bugs can be taken care of in the wash. Warm water or hot, you're putting your dryer on the hottest cycle and run it for as long as it can. As long as it'll go, will kill them. Some of the stuff I read, that most detergents will take care of them in the wash. But some of the other information says it needs to be hot water, and then you also have to use the hottest setting on your dryer to get rid of them off your clothes. You can't just seal them in a bag and expect them to go away, because the bed bugs can actually live up to a year without feeding. And so unless you're willing to seal your clothes in a bag or something like that for a year or more, you're not really doing any good. Can bed bugs travel on clothes you're wearing? They can, but it's not real common. The information I got was that unlike lice and stuff like that, bed bugs don't travel directly on people and spread from person to person, but they can travel on people's clothes. And this way, people can spread them to others without even knowing it. But I would think that would also depend on, like when did you pick up the bug, and how long are you going to be wearing the clothes, and where are you going to be going. But that's still a possibility. Uh, here's one that we just talked about. Can bed bugs survive the washing machine? Fortunately, bed bugs should not be able to survive high temperatures of washing machine. By setting the water temperature at around 50 degrees Celsius or 122 degrees Fahrenheit or higher and using a dryer on the highest heat setting, you should be able to effectively kill all bed bugs and their eggs. Because that's basically the heat that kills them. But again, some of the other stuff that I was reading on, they said most laundry detergents will take care of them, but everything that I've heard for the longest time, even talking to some of the what do they call those people?
I'm not sure what
exterminators.
Oh yeah.
Wow, I'm having a hard time tonight. Everybody I've talked to said it's the heat that kills them. You know, really didn't say anything about laundry soap and stuff like that, and they said it was the heat. And how long does it take to get rid of bed bugs? Typically, it can take anywhere from 2 to 4 treatment sessions over a period of 3 to 6 weeks to completely eliminate bed bugs, depending on the level of infestation and the size of the house. However, each situation is a little bit unique. We have had them at, unfortunately, where I work several times. Most of you might know I work in a casino, and we've had them in our office once. The exterminator came in and inspected. He just said that it had to be something that somebody brought in because of the amount of light that we have, the type of chairs that we have, and stuff like that. He said, this is just not a place that you will find bed bugs living. He said, so more than likely it's somebody brought it in on their clothes and didn't realize it. And it could have been any number of people. It could have been the dispatcher, different people that came into the office, from the different departments, or, more than likely that was where it came in from. But he sprayed, and that's the last we saw of him. But other areas of the casino have had them repeated, and we think that's because somebody from that area is bringing them in. Do bed bugs lay eggs on clothes you're wearing? Bed bugs do lay eggs on the clothes, or they can. Bed bugs are capable of laying eggs on clothes, but they are unlikely to do so when you're wearing them. Generally, bed bugs only crawl on humans when they are still, like when they're sleeping, and instead lay eggs in mattresses, bed frames, floorboards, and walls. Can you feel the bed bugs crawling on you? Now, I've heard 2 different stories on this one. It says according to this information that I have, is that you may feel the bed bugs crawling on your body, especially when you're trying to sleep or more than one of them is feeding on you. You might actually feel them crawling around, but I've been told that you won't feel them bite you, because they actually inject a little something into your skin so that you won't, that numbs it, and so you won't feel them. Which brings the next topic. Can you feel bed bugs bite you? All the exterminators I've talked to said more than likely not. Wow, she's nervous. She's just sitting straight up. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so you won't feed it. You won't feel them, because they inject an anesthetic which numbs the area, and you won't feel them feeding on you, biting into you. Can bed bugs live in your car? Yeah, it's possible for them to live in your car, but then again, it depends on for how long and stuff, because again, with the heat that kills them, in the summertime and stuff, your cars can get extremely hot for long periods of time, and more than likely that heat would kill them. Do bed bugs like clean sheets? The little critters, it doesn't matter. They don't care if it's clean, dirty, or what. It doesn't matter to them. They're not picky. They go wherever they can feed. Are there other bugs that can be mistaken for bed bugs? Yeah, there's actually several. There's one of them, the most common one is a carpet beetle. The bites also can be mistaken. Just because you get a red bite on your leg or arm or something like that while you're sleeping doesn't necessarily mean it's a bed bug. It could be something else because there's several other bugs to where their bites look similar. The information that I read, it was basically, and this was from a guy that said had been studying bed bugs for years. He said to this day he can't tell just by looking at a bite to tell whether it's a bed bug bite or not. That several things, you have to look for several other things. You can't just look at a bite and go, oh yeah, that's a bed bug. And the one thing you can do if you're getting bit by something and you suspect bed bugs, you can actually check your sheets to see if there's little blood spots or brown spots from where they were feeding on you. Because once they detach, you'll bleed just a little bit, and that little bit will actually get on your sheets. So if you're getting bit and you have little blood specks and stuff like that in your sheets, there's a pretty good chance that that's what it is, but that's still not proof positive that that's what they are. The only way to prove that that's what it is to actually find the evidence of where they're living, that they're in your mattress and stuff like that.
Now, on your mattress, is there something specific you need to be looking for or location?
Normally in the seams, that little seam that goes around the top of your mattress or at the bottom, if you will get like a bright light and lift that up and look in those crevices, that's where they like to hide because it stays dark all the time. Also, you can lift up the mattress to see if there's any between the mattress and the box springs because that's also dark, but they really like to stay in those little crevices of the seams.
And what would they look like if you were to see one?
They kind of look like an apple seed, maybe a little bit bigger.
An apple seed?
Yeah, they're they're the shape of an apple seed and brown. Some of them may be red, depending on the size of them. Some of them, as they mature, they get a little bit bigger.
It's awful big.
Well, some of them are. They're pretty good size. The older they get, the bigger they get.
Same. My life.
Right. And where should you sleep if you have bed bugs? The
neighbor's house.
Yeah, if they'll let you. I mean, the information I got, it says to continue sleeping in your bedroom after identifying a bed bug infestation, because they're basically saying in this information, which makes sense, that if you have them in your room and then you start sleeping in other parts of the house, or there's a good chance that you're going to spread them throughout the house. So to go ahead and stay in your bedroom, I know it sounds kind of creepy knowing that those things are there and are crawling on you and stuff, but it's either that or spread them throughout the rest of the house. Some questions that have been asked is like, do they go away naturally? No, I guess there may be a slim chance. I'm not going to say 100% of the time they do not. There may be an occasion where they have, but most generally they don't, because they continue to populate and grow and grow and grow. You know, the colony grows. And the longer you wait, the harder it is to get rid of them, and the more expensive it becomes. Some people have asked us, how fast do they multiply? Well, a female bed bug can typically lay an average of 1 egg per day, although she can lay as many as 5 to 7 eggs in a single day at their peak. It takes 10 to 15 days for an egg to hatch, and a bed bug is able to reproduce in about 6 weeks. So that's why, people that think, we'll move out, wait a little while, they'll go away on their own. No, they won't. They'll just continue to multiply, and there'll be more of them when you come back. Because I didn't realize until I've had conversations with the exterminators that those critters can live up to a year without feeding. And I never would have thought that, but that's an awful long time to go without.
Kind of like a roach.
Kind of, yeah. And the type of sprays and stuff that some information says, hey, go down to your hardware store and get this type of spray. But yet I've talked to exterminators and read other places on the internet that the typical household sprays don't work, that you need to get something that is specifically designated for the bed bugs. And that's why it's best to get an exterminator, because they have that stuff. They're licensed to carry that kind of pesticides. The one lady that was on our cruise ship that said she had them said that they came in and inspected her room, couldn't find any evidence of bed bugs, but they went ahead and sprayed her room, and she asked them to swap out the mattress, which they did. The only problem with that is you can, if in fact that's what the bug was that was biting her, you're taking this mattress and moving it out and taking the chance of spreading them to somewhere else, even though they've been sprayed, since they can
Drop them down the hall.
drop them down the hall and stuff like that. Now if they took the mattress, she didn't say, but if they took the mattress, wrapped it up before they moved it, then that's okay. I mean, everything's contained within that mattress, which I would think that's probably what they would do, is they would probably spray the mattress real good with the pesticides they have for treating that, wrap it up, and then, since they swapped out mattresses, probably stow it somewhere for a few days.
So where had we been when she said she had them? Was it a 7-day spill on the ship? Had we been to a port? I mean, is it possible she could have got bit by something in the port? I know Costa Maya, I got eat up last year.
Yeah, I mean, that's all that stuff's possible. And that's why you shouldn't just look at a bite and go, that's a bed bug. I mean,
if you think about it, I get stung by a mosquito. It's like 12 to 20 hours later, and I swell up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, some of her mosquito bites, I kid you not, she's been bitten by mosquitoes, and when she gets bit, her reaction is, I mean,
oh, jeez, $50. I mean,
yeah, at least. I mean, it's huge. I was surprised at how the first time I saw your mosquito bites, how bad they were. I think of where we were working at the Ranger ballpark, or now it's called the ballpark at Arlington, because the stadium we were working at was demolished and rebuilt.
Saturday.
And it was Texas Ranger Stadium.
Mm-hmm. Ranger Stadium.
I
don't have it. Go.
And she was usher, I was security, and we just kind of.
Rest is history.
Yeah. Yeah, she was working my section, and we kind of got to talking, and things just blossomed from there. One of the things I did look up was if the bed bugs could reproduce, how do bed bugs reproduce, and found out that was kind of interesting.
It's kind of personal.
Wow. Because they said, one can lay out, because the information I was reading said one could lay up, one bed bug can lay an egg. Okay, well, does that mean, do they have to mate like other animals, or do they, just reproduce without it. But yeah, come to find out that the male, when he mates with the female bed bug, actually injects her in the abdomen, and anytime she lays an egg, as long as she's been mated, she can actually lay fertilized eggs for however long it lasts. But then anything once all the fluid and stuff like that's gone from her abdomen, she still continues to lay eggs, but they're sterile. So they have to be mated in order for the eggs to be any good or to hatch.
To be viable.
But unfortunately, we've had them at work several times, and I had one girl that was constantly, after we had the office sprayed, she was claiming that, well, I'm getting bit. Every time I sit down at this desk, I get bit. I was like, well, do you feel them biting you? Well, yeah, they bite me all the time. But yet she didn't have any marks, but she was supposedly getting bit all the time. And that's when I started looking up that, you don't feel, the majority of the time, you won't feel a bed bug bite you. And, because we did have the exterminator come back in a second time and look around, and he was just like, I'm not seeing nothing. He crawled under my desk, under their desks, pulled out a bunch of wiring, the floorboard. He was sitting there on the floor pulling that out, shining his light down in there in any little crevice that he could find, and he's just like, I'm not seeing nothing. He goes, it's got to be something else. But he went ahead and sprayed again, and went ahead and sprayed for other insects, and she even after that, she continued, well, I'm still getting bit. We still got bed bugs. I'm getting bit by them. And I was just like, no. And so that finally, she left, and so did the problem. Well, the problem with people getting bit, because it was weird. She was the only one getting bit sitting at that station. So, that was another
Reasonable conclusion.
Reason that I don't know if she was just trying to stir up problems or what. But we did have a couple offices, and to this day, they're still having problems with. Well, no, I haven't heard about that one problem in a while, but I know the one of the problems that we had, they were coming in every few weeks and spraying, and they were pretty sure that it was somebody that was working there, had them at the house and didn't realize it, and was bringing them in. Because it just seemed like whenever a certain individual was there is when we would have the problem, but when they weren't there, the problem didn't, we never found anything, and haven't in a long time. And he retired. So, and there's not really a shame of getting bit. Jesus. Dang dog. Sorry about that, folks. If I can figure out how to edit that out, I will.
That woke everybody up.
Yeah. Sure did.
All right.
There's not really a problem in having bed bugs or shame in getting bed bugs, because of the way they can be passed on. You can get them and not even know it. So, the shame is not having bad bed bugs. In my opinion, the shame is having them, knowing that you have them and not doing anything about it, because that's what gets other people. You can actually spread it to other houses and have them have problems and stuff. But that's just my opinion. And the pretty much that's all the information I had on them. If anybody else has any other questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them, because I've had to do a lot of research because of the stuff at work. And I just, since we had that lady on our last cruise tell us that she had them in our cabin, just made me wonder if it's not a topic we shouldn't discuss, to let people know, yeah, it does happen on the ships. It's not very common, and they do their diligence to get rid of them if they know you might have them in your room, but just don't. There's a good chance that maybe it was the person that was in that cabin before you brought them in. And as long as they know about it, they will do what they can to get rid of them.
And I just don't know why people feel they have to sue, for every little thing. It happens. It's part of nature. It sucks, but it happens. I mean, anytime you go somewhere, you take that chance because, some of the hotels I've stayed in have been pretty good. Some of them have not been so good, but I didn't have bed bugs in them. So
right. And I would really, unfortunately, I wish the courts could determine stuff like that. But, if the hotel or wherever you stay knew about it and didn't do anything, then yeah, I could see where somebody might want to sue if they found out, well, yeah, this was a problem. People have reported it in this room and they haven't done nothing. I could see them wanting to sue over that. But if it's, they come in there and they really look for it and they can't find nothing, but yet they spray anyway, and nobody reports anything before or after you leave. I mean, who's to say you didn't bring them in yourself? Maybe the hotel that you were at, you picked something up and didn't realize it, and so you're the one that brought them in. But hey, they got rid of it.
I mean, we were in New Mexico, last winter, and I just got eat up. Maybe it's because I'm sweeter than you.
No.
Oh, ouch. I didn't go and complain or anything. When we checked out, I was like, oh, by the way, you might want to check the room before somebody checks in. I kind of showed him my arms, and I got bit a few times. I have some more on my legs and stuff, whatever. Wasn't pitching a fit, wasn't, loud and trying to embarrass the owners or the employees of the place, because there were people in the dining area right behind me when I was checking out. And I was just kind of like, y'all might want to check it before somebody else checks in. And so I got a phone call, a couple of days later, said they had, treated the room. They'd looked, they didn't find anything. They treated the room and didn't allow anybody into that room. And then what they did is they went in, and because we were there for 2 nights, and they discounted one of the nights, which I didn't ask for that. I appreciate it. I didn't ask for that. I just, when it comes to things like this, like I said, I can get bit by a mosquito and it'll swell up the size of a lemon, and they bite Tony and you can't even see it. And so people have different reactions. And if there was something there, I mean, it could have been a spider for all I know. I just know I had a bunch of bites on me.
Yeah.
And either way, check it out, treat it, whatever. And the snow was not that we got on that trip was not enough to reduce the swelling. So, I have a little bit more of an allergy or something to something like that. And, I guess it could have been a problem, but I didn't go and pitch a fit and scream and holler and, oh, this filthy place. But, because we'd stayed there before even, hadn't we? The same place.
Yeah, same place we stayed a year or two ago.
And it, it's just, like I said, things happen. And, kind of sucks, but when it happens, you got to deal with it and move on.
Yeah, and we look, I checked the sheets and stuff like that, and I couldn't find anything myself. So it was kind of like, I wonder if it's a spider or whatever.
Yeah.
But, it could have been, but
I have one of those in my car. Can I burn my car? I don't know where he went.
And that brings up another question that I did come across was, they've had, why is it that she's getting bit, but I'm not? Well, how come bed bugs are only biting her when they're not biting me? Well, it has to do with wherever the bed bugs are living. They're going to go to the closest food source. So if they're living on her side of the mattress, she's probably going to be the one that gets bit, not me. But whereas...
So you're saying they're not going to travel across when there's a source available?
Right. They're going to go to the nearest food source.
Wow. It was, like I said, it happens. And And that's the way too, when you order new clothes off the internet, make sure you wash them really good before you just pull them out and start wearing them. Because I had ordered from a store one time and there was a notification in there about, be sure and wash this prior to wearing in the event of any. And I'm like, excuse me? What you talking about? So threw the bag away, took it outside, put the clothes in the wash. We're still good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, that sucks that they.
I mean, you think that stuff sits in a warehouse.
Right.
And it can, if one thing came from on a piece of clothes from, wherever, and it sits in a warehouse with, 10,000 other things, then the chance of it spreading, looking for a source is great.
Well, they bow. Where I read where they almost had the bed bug problem under control or eradicated, whatever you want to call it. So, several years ago, but due to the changing of policies, the EPA, OSHA, this, that, and other thing, they had to change the formula they were using, and the formula they were using is no longer as effective as the one that they were using before. And they have to, my understanding is from the exterminators and stuff, is that they can get immune to pesticides. And so what they're using right now in a few years may not work. And so they're going to have to come up with a different formula to kill them. And then in a few years, that won't work. And so they're going to have to figure out something else.
That's just like us. I mean, we become immune to antibiotics. If you continue to use them over and over, and it's not something that you really needed an antibiotic for, but they put you on it, you build up a resistance to it, and you have to change something a little bit stronger, a little bit stronger.
Well, and then when you think about all the pesticides that are being used right now to, like we have a guy come out and spray our house once our yard every few weeks or every few months. And, that's a pesticide that they may or may not get used to because he uses it everywhere on all the other yards and houses and stuff like that. And they just eventually get immune to it.
Mm-hmm. And that, speaking of the hotel in New Mexico, I mean, they allowed pets and we took our dog.
Mm-hmm.
It's very possible that, somebody's dog slept on that side of the bed and it was a flea.
Or fleas.
Yeah. I mean, because, God, it doesn't matter whether it's a flea, an ant, tick, whatever, mosquito, I swell up like a goose egg.
Yep.
So, it sucks being allergic to everything.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the other things that an exterminator told me was that red mark that you get is actually, like if you get bit by a bed bug, the red mark that you get is actually a reaction to the anesthesia or whatever they want to call it that they use that numbs your skin so you don't feel them bite on you.
Venom.
Well, venom, anesthesia, I'm not really sure what you want to call it, but because they'll inject you with that, your skin goes numb, and then they can sit there and bite you and feed on you for a while, and you won't even feel it. Well, apparently the red mark you get is you're basically having an allergic reaction to that. And he told me, he says, and if you're not allergic to it, he goes, you won't feel them bite you, but you'll never get a red mark. He says you won't know it because you're not, since you don't have a reaction to the.
And that could be how people have them for lengths of time in a residence or something and not be aware of it, and then they get in the cuff of their pants and drop off at work.
Yeah.
Spread that way. They could have gotten bit and never known that was the case.
Yep.
So it's crazy.
Yeah, it's weird, but it just I know it's a topic that people, I've even mentioned talking about this at work and had several people who are just like, oh, no, I'm not going to, it just creeped them, just hearing the word creeped them out so bad that they didn't even want to talk about it. But, the only way you're going to learn about it is
talk about
it and get different information and stuff. Because information, to me, the more information you have on something, the better you are. And that's the one thing not to bring up scuba diving, but that's why I like to go to all the different training courses when it comes to scuba diving. Is not necessarily will I ever use the stuff that I go, classes that I go to. That's like the enriched air. I think I've used enriched air once, but it's knowing that I can use it and how it works. There's a lot of information to that. The altitude diving, I got certified on that, and I've done it twice. Night diving, I've done it twice.
All that requires too much chemistry for me.
Well, that's on the altitude diving. That's where the computers come in handy. You don't have to do any figuring. When I first learned how to scuba dive, we had to do everything by card. Now but the card didn't take into account when if you're down at 30 feet or 100 feet and you're swimming along, there's going to be times where you drop down to 105 and you come back up to 101, back up to 89 or whatever. You may not realize that you're making that big of an adjustment. Well, your card is based on that card was based as if you went 100 feet the entire dive. This is how much time you had down there. Whereas the dive computers that they have now, they take into account anytime you change a foot, it recalculates the time that you're down at that depth, and it starts telling you, hey, you need to start heading up. Oh, well, you came up 3 feet. Oh, well, now you need to head up in 20 minutes instead of 5. So I know the numbers are way off, but that's just an example. It calculates anytime the slightest adjustment. And so I swear by them. Better than going by a paper card trying to remember the formula.
Well, it's just knowledge is power. The more you have, the easier it is to manipulate things around you. Oh. Well, I want to apologize for not having any eyelids today.
Yeah, she's worked the last 5 nights.
Yeah, plus day shift. It was 5/12s, and then I worked day shift.
Yeah, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. 5 nights in a row. And she didn't get a whole lot of sleep yesterday.
I had 3 hours.
Well, yeah. And then you went in and worked 12. Came home, got a couple hours of sleep, and I'm lucky that you're even awake right now.
I had some bags big enough I can go to Walmart and carry my groceries home.
Hey, you can get that stuff they put on TV that makes you look younger.
Didn't we get some of that in Costa Maya?
Yeah, but they never sent us the instructions like they said they would.
Shocker.
That's the one thing that I do dislike about some of the stuff that we buy in the ports is you'll buy something, and they'll tell you, oh, well, what's your email address? We'll send you the instructions on how to use this, that, or this, and depending on what it is, and the warranty information, and da-da-da-da-da. Well, here we are, and we haven't received any of it.
Well, believe me, I just have that personality. I'll go visit that port or that shop when we go back to Costa Maya and go, I'm still waiting on my email.
Yep. Yeah, because that's right. We are going back in June, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
God, it's going to be hot.
Yeah, but it's going to be, no, it won't be a dry heat.
No, it's not. No.
Yeah, we're scheduled to go on the Jubilee one more time. June 29th through July 6th.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Yes.
Yeah, we actually have a front balcony room, which I'm excited to see what that's like. And we've had a cove balcony, we've had an obstructed balcony, we've had
Cove balcony?
Yeah, that one. I thought we did that.
Is that the one in Alaska?
Yeah.
That was a restricted
No, that
view.
was obstructed view. But I thought we had a cove because we were like on the bottom. It was like the bottom row of.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Okay.
Oh, we might have. Very well could have.
Yeah.
I just know it was too cold for the balcony on the last one. We walked out on the balcony and watched the snow.
Yeah, that was a trip. And we knew it was going to get cold, but man, we didn't know it was going to. It was actually cold enough to where it was snowing on that trip.
It was really pretty.
It was pretty, yeah, but it was definitely not expected.
That's probably why I didn't see any whale. They came out and went, "Oh no, it's cold. Let's go back in the warm water."
I think I let blubber on them. It didn't bother them a bit.
Well, I do too, and it bothered me.
Yeah, but you're not living in the water that's that cold.
True that. But we saw Sasha. I saw Sasha.
Mhm.
And if I know who Sasha is, look up Sasha in the whale world.
Yes.
She didn't give us much of a show, but
Yeah, but you got to see her tail.
her fluke. Excuse me, fluke. Fluke. Yeah, I didn't know it was called that. Always heard whale tail.
Wow.
We talked about that last week, didn't we?
Yep, sure did.
Feels like it was yesterday.
Well, that's because you haven't slept very much.
Kind of shows. Kind of pale looking. Bags under my eyes. I need some sun. Come on, Caribbean.
Well, we could have got some sun tomorrow if the pool had been.
I can still go out there and just beach myself on the deck.
On the deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're having problems with our pool again. It seems like that thing is a never-ending
Nightmare.
deal. We got back and it was a nice, really green color. I even said that if anybody needed some stuff for a science experiment, they could come to my pool and get the water they needed. It was a nice dark green.
Kind of like the swamp in
Yeah.
Louisiana.
Yeah.
We didn't have no alligators crawling out of it though, so that's good.
No. Got it to where it was a pale blue and you could actually see the bottom. It was real cloudy, but you could see the bottom. And so we were going to go out there and vacuum it again today. And I turned on the motor and I was like, man, this thing sounds funny. I bet you it's fixing to go out. We come in the house to do a few things, go back out there. The motor's not running. So I checked the outlet. It's fine. I checked the extension cord. It's fine. Plugged it back into the motor. Nada.
Just
Well,
like
I take that back. It did when I turned it on. It went. Like
How'd that go again?
You heard, that's the second time you heard it. But so now I've got to get a new motor so I can get the water moving. Otherwise, it's going to turn nice and green again, and I'll have to start all over.
Okay.
And the only difference is that this time the green will be in a full pool instead of a half full pool.
We can get some koi fish. Let them be going.
No.
Turn it into a pond.
I keep hoping one of these tornado seasons we'll lose it, but
I mean, there's the community garage sale. We could get rid of it if the kids aren't going to swim in it. That's why we got it. Of course, we waited until they moved out.
I don't know I wouldn't know how to sell that thing in a garage sale anyway. Because I'd have to empty it. And the drawback to emptying it is our land in the backyard slopes towards our neighbor. And if I let too much water out of the pool, it floods his driveway. And where his
Sucks to be him.
brand new workshop is. And it's not his fault, but
He has a moat around it.
yeah.
It can go around it.
Well, that's why it floods his driveway is because he's put up that barrier or whatever, and now all the water, instead of draining through his yard like it used to, has to go around his work shed. Well, when it goes around his work shed, it goes towards his driveway and ends up flooding his driveway.
Yeah, he had a nice little natural indentation. It wasn't a creek, but an indentation in his yard that it would just water would flow from both sides of the property into it and down into the little ditch that ran behind us. But
You could
messed it up.
Like from our back porch, if you stood there and looked at the land, you could see it. It went down at an angle and then just kind of went down a little bit and then slowly came back up. And it was like a nice little drainage deal for all the water in the backyard. But the
New neighbor.
new neighbor, built his work shed on top of that. So now anything that drains through that little gully or whatever you want to call it goes to hits the side of his new work shed, splits, and I think the majority of the water is going towards his house because we had an accident with our pool one night and it leaked all night long. I got up the next morning and he literally had water up to his garage doors.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. Was that work?
It wasn't quite, he probably still had about a foot or two before it reached the garage door, but it was, his whole driveway was flooded.
I bet he was cussing you.
Don't know nothing about it.
Just told all the internet it happened.
Didn't say when.
Just one night.
This one night.
We've lived here 20
some odd years.
22?
Yeah. But, well, that was pretty much all the information I had on those.
Anybody have any topics? Where's
Yeah.
my Jen? We usually go back and forth. Of course, I wouldn't go tonight.
Right.
It might get fun real fast if I tried.
It's been almost an hour. We got 9 more minutes. What do you have planned for the next cruise? We'll try to burn up those last 9 minutes.
Well, I did not get, because of all the hours I'm working, and I'm actually having to work at work, heaven forbid. From the time I walk in till the next shift comes in, and I'm 20, 30 minutes, an hour and a half, 2 hours, still trying to pack up. But I did not get a hold of the red shirt golf cart people. So we'll have to take a taxi over to Muhalalalalalal. I don't know how to say it. In Costa Maya so that you can go diving at Dr. Dive. And then I think I'm going to hang out at the Crazy Crab or just kind of walk around the area there and Crazy Crab. And then there's someplace else. They all have like beachfront property. And if you spend enough in the Crazy Crab Cafe or whatever, then they'll let you have free access to their beach. And I think it was them too. If you pull up in a red shirt golf cart, then they start your day with a free margarita. So I'm kind of sad that we're going to take a taxi. So my first margarita is not going to be paid for, but there's that. So I'm going to spend the day that, and I'll probably come home eating up again because there was something in Costa Maya that does not like me. And then in Cozumel, we're going to Mr. Sancho's. Hopefully my son Ian will be there. Last time we went, you have your own little private waiters, that takes care of like 4 or 5 tables or whatever. And he brought me a cup and it had mama on it. And then he told me, "I'm your Mexican son." And he's a sweet kid. So he's very, very nice. And my cousin's actually seen pictures and stuff from Mr. Sancho's. So they wanted to go there. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I had fun. And this time I'm going to get the fruit, though, mixed fruit, because I didn't know they had that last time. And then where else are we going? Costa Maya. Oh, Honduras. What do we?
Roatan.
Oh, yeah. I have a private excursion booked. I know she's still looking for a couple of more people to go on that. But it was like $75 to go to see the sloths. So my cousin's wife, my new cousin, she wanted to see the sloths, and I'm all about the spider monkeys, so we're gonna go see that. It was like $75 for, I don't remember, 4 or 5 hours. So we'll see the monkeys and the sloths and the parrots and then the iguanas over to the little iguana farm thingy, and then we're going to a beach club and we'll spend a couple 3 or 4 hours there. You get lunch and 2 drinks, and so that's a pretty cool deal as long as we can get enough people to make it that price.
Cool.
And she did say that he guarantees that if, we don't get enough people or if they change port days or something like that, and then we don't get to go, we get our money back. So it was like $25 down, and I pay the other. It looks like instead of 75, it was like 76.92 or something. It was like a really weird amount. I thought, well, that's weird. So instead of just taking $50, but they do have I don't remember if it was there. I don't remember which port it was now, but they had $20 for an hour-long massage. I think it was in Costa Maya.
Oh, wow.
I was like, tempting, very
Yeah.
tempting.
Especially after that one we got on Luminosa.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, we got comped a couples massage. What was it, an hour? Yeah,
Yeah.
it was an hour couples massage. Did me some good.
Hot stones or
Hot
something
stone,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah. If you've not had a hot stone massage, I highly recommend it. It was a little awkward, but this one is done on the beach, so you don't have to,
Disrobe.
get to the same point there. Yeah. So that was all good. So that's the 3 ports, and then I'm gonna hit up. Is it Dr. Inks? I may try one of those drinks that has the bubble on it on the Jubilee.
Okay.
It's a specialty drink. We'll have. I got onboard credit this time, so with the onboard credit, I'll use that to try a couple of drinks that I didn't try last time. They still have the restaurants are still free.
Oh, good.
The Shebang and the Italian place, and it's a couple of 1 or 2 others. The specialty restaurants are still free because it's in their first year.
Okay.
And I'm excited that Kendall Fire is coming, and she just got back on board, so she'll be our cruise director again.
Cool.
She was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If I just had a quarter of her energy, I could get through the day. But
I did come up with a idea. I don't know that it would work. There's a camera case made by Oceanic that I can put my iPhone in and take it underwater and use it as an underwater camera, which would be really cool because they take some really good pictures. I mean, I've seen some like the shark videos and stuff that I have. Those were taken with an iPhone.
70-foot underwater.
Yeah. If it would be interesting if I get under there, if I'm getting silver service, I wonder if I could do it live while I'm diving.
You can't really talk. You'd be like,
No, but, I mean,
they would make as much sense as I am tonight.
I just thought of that. I mean, that'd be kind of cool. Be able to go under there. Hey, I got cell service. Can
We have
do
cell,
live real quick.
we have cell service in May.
Flip the lens.
Yeah.
I doubt that it would receive underwater, especially if we're down 70 some odd feet.
30-foot might. Might still be close enough to the.
I don't know because we're out away from the shore and then down 30 feet. So I don't know. I mean, it's possible, but I'd rather just record and then put it back up. But it was kind of an interesting thought. If I knew the iPhone 16s are fixing to come out and we're going to be eligible for those, and the camera case that they have that Oceanic sells is made for the iPhone, but we don't know if it's going to fit the iPhone 16, and I'd really hate to get it and then my phone not fit it after 6 months. Or let's see, they normally release them in September.
Oh, well, you
September,
won't have it.
October.
You won't have it then before we go.
Have what? The iPhone? No, I know that.
Yeah. So if you get the case to fit what you have now to record while diving, then
It may not fit the
That'll
phone
kinda
that
suck.
we get, and I don't want to spend that kind of money on a camera case only to have it work with one phone.
well, maybe you know somebody that can swap it out or resell it for you.
Well, the thing about Oceanic is that they're supposedly, everything that I'm being told from some sources, that Oceanic is working directly with iPhone. So they said, you would think that they would make it to where it fits. And I was like, yeah, you would think. But again, I don't want to spend the money. It's like a $375 case. But I mean, it's excellent. You can use it as a dive computer and all sorts of, it's got all sorts of apps and stuff on it, as well as being able to integrate with your phone and take videos and pictures and stuff. You can actually it'll give you your depth, time at depth. I mean, it works just like almost like a dive computer. So it's really cool. But I would hate to get it and then it not work with our next phone.
Yeah. Well, they keep adjusting the size of the phones and stuff, so you just never
Yeah.
know.
And I've kind of heard through the grapevine that they're doing something different with the camera on the 16. Supposedly they're going back to 2 lenses, or at least the images that I saw of the 16, what they're projecting the 16 is going to look like, showed that it was only going to have 2 lenses instead of the 3. So I don't know if that.
I thought that was supposed to be one of the big selling points was their awesome 3-dimensional whatever cameras.
Right. But they may have found a way to do it with just 2. I don't know. They didn't go into a whole lot. They showed a picture of what they think the next version is going to look like, and it only had 2 lenses on the back, not the 3.
Interesting.
And they did say that they were making some major changes in the camera. They didn't say how. They just said, they're expecting major changes. And I can't drink any more coffee because I had somebody land in it. So that sucks.
That's only fair. I didn't get any.
Yeah.
That's all right. I don't need anything to keep me awake tonight.
Right. Hey, Cruise Nuts, welcome in. Thanks for being here.
Hello.
How y'all doing this evening? Hope you guys are doing okay. We hope everybody's doing well.
Yeah, for those down around the Houston area, man, our thoughts are with y'all.
Yeah.
It was Jennifer sent me the news article. I saw that the windows were blown out in one of the big high rises or something down there. It kind of reminds me of the storm in Fort Worth a few years back where it blew out all the glass windows down there. I guess last I heard, they've lost 7 people in the area. And we deal with tornadoes and stuff up here all the time around us, and it's just it's devastating, the damage and stuff. So
Yeah.
we just our thoughts go out to them down there. Makes me think about the cruise vet too.
Cozumel for 2 weeks. Nice.
Nice.
We're just talking a little bit about that. We're fixing to go back there in June on the Jubilee. It's only for a day, but hey, it's a day away from work.
So I guess you were staying at like a private beach club or something. We've never done anything like that yet. Once we found, my brother always said, once you start cruising, you'll never do a regular vacation again. And I don't think we have.
No.
Not since 15.
No, we've pretty much hit the cruise ships every time we get a chance. Because the nice thing about the cruising, which, I'm trying to get people to understand at work because and it's not so much they don't understand, but it's, you can pay $3,000 or whatever to go to a place and spend the week, or 2 weeks.
You mean with a mouse?
I wasn't going to bring that up.
I didn't know no names.
Well, for $3,000, I think
that would
be
not for the weekend, isn't it?
Yeah. On the cruise, you get to wake up in a different location every day. Whereas if you go to Disney World or whatever and you stay at their hotel, every morning you wake up, guess what? You're in the same place you were yesterday and the day before and the day before and the day before.
Yeah, but if I'm on a beach, I don't care.
True. But I just don't like the crowds and stuff at the parks.
Yeah. They stay downtown, eat at the local Mexican restaurants. Ooh, tacos. Yum. I saw something the other day, or earlier today, I was reading. It said I would like to be at the point in my life where ordering guacamole is not an issue. Having a side of guacamole.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of ring true. Now that I've learned what's in guacamole and how to make it.
That's cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
I do eat it. I used to not. Salsa. See, I could just live on chips and salsa.
Mm.
Tacos. Not fish tacos, but real tacos.
Shrimp tacos.
No, that's fish.
Mm.
Or used in fishing. Same thing. No.
So you guys got any cruises coming up anytime soon? Or-
Ready to go again. I can't believe
Yeah.
I'm saying that. We just got off one. A long one.
That 31 day, I mean, I wouldn't mind doing it again. I mean, it was, now that we know what it's like and what to expect and stuff. I mean, I really wouldn't mind going like on the return trip. It would be nice if they could. I realize the ship is being repositioned, and so pretty much the same ports are going to be hit every time. But maybe look for some different ships that are being repositioned and hit some different ports.
I really want to go through the Panama Canal.
Yeah.
I know they sometimes bring them from Miami, hit Panama Canal somehow, and then end up in like Long Beach or something. You know, I'd be okay with that.
Oh, that one from Rome that we had booked that one time
Mm-hmm.
would have been cool. It was 15. I think it was 15 days. Rome to someplace in Florida, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, see something like that. You know, change up different venues. But I don't mind doing the long cruises.
I'd like to go to Greenland too. Those don't come up very often.
No, they don't. Either if they do, they don't sell out so quick that you can't. We haven't had time to really think. We saw it once and we were thinking about it, and like 1 or 2 days later, I think we were gonna look at doing it. Man, it's sold out. I mean, but.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to like cruising out of New York right now. So I think that's where the ones from Green. Ooh, words are hard tonight. The ones going to Greenland, I think, go out of New York. We had some friends that we met on the Luminosa. They were not. We sat at a 4-top, but it was just the two of us. The other two never showed up, and then this couple sat at a 2-top that was next to us, and so we visited and exchanged numbers, and we've texted back and forth a little bit. But after being on that one, it was they went home for a week and then went to New York and got on the Venezia.
Yeah.
So my shoe's stuck in the chair. Oh, okay, I'm good. Got on the Venezia, and I really want to try that ship, but actually one of the crew members that was in the dining room said that's the prettiest ship that Carnival has is the Venezia. And he's been with the company 20, I think he said like 22 or 23 years. And he said, that's the prettiest ship. And I was like, all right, sold. You know, I was wanting to do it anyway. It may be Panorama, might not be my favorite ship after that. I like the Jubilee. It's just way too big. I had to buy new shoes to go on the Jubilee again. Came in yesterday. Tried some Skechers.
Well, you may have to buy some new ones because we're in the front of it this time.
Oh, I did. I mean, they literally, I wore them. No, wait a minute. Days run together. I guess day before yesterday is the first time I wore them. So
Yeah,
I'm not going to wear them to the beach, though.
Were we in the middle or in the aft on the Jubilee?
We're usually, we were aft on, no, wait a minute, Jubilee?
Yeah. And it still seemed like no matter what we had to do, we had to walk a ways.
I think we were midship.
Yeah.
We were kind of under the casino, wherever that is. I don't know. But we're like front. We'll be like, reach up and tickle the captain's toes. Hello.
Yeah.
So I was thinking the other day about, I couldn't wait to get on a balcony in the sun. And then I thought, oh my God, we're going to be going 21 knots sitting on our balcony. I'll be like.
You won't have to use that special cream or whatever to get the wrinkles out.
Pull the wrinkles out.
At least I can stand up there and I can flap my wings.
Yeah, you're saying you're trying to convince people at work to go on a cruise. I've heard people say, oh, I can't swim. I don't want to go on a cruise. Well, I heard something the other day or read it on Facebook or something. They said, well, people say they won't go on a cruise because they don't know how to swim. Well, you can't fly either, but you get on a plane. I was like, well, that makes a lot of sense right there.
Well, I know the one lady, she said her husband won't go because the one cruise that they went on, I guess he got in an accident. Something happened, but he ended up getting hospitalized there at one of the ports. And they had a heck of a time getting back to the U.S. because they didn't have a passport. And they didn't. There was some other stuff, but she said that she had to. How much money they ended up spending trying to get back to the U.S. and her husband said never again.
Well, I mean, that's a sticky subject. I mean, accident can happen anywhere, and they say no, you don't have to have a passport. No, you don't. But I just feel more confident. And, then there's a discussion. Do you take it with you into the port or do you leave it on the ship? And they say, well, take a picture of it, but leave it on the ship in the safe. And they're like, well, how do I get home if it's on the ship? Well, my understanding is if you don't show up and the ship's going to leave, they will take your passport out of the safe and leave it. If you have one, they will leave it with the customs or whoever there at the port so that you'll have access to it. Have that to get home. I've carried it a couple of places just to get it stamped and I kind of worry about that, but we have the passport card, and the passport card, I guess you can use more for identification. It's kind of an expensive ID card, but you can't really use it to fly around. Yeah. So it's just kind of like, well, why did I spend the money for this? But when I was traveling with my job, I need to see an ID. Okay, here you go. Here's my passport, because it didn't have my home address on it. And for what I did, I didn't want my home address out there in all the towns, especially some of the towns.
Well, the way I look at that is, yes, I can't use the passport card to fly and this, that, and the other thing. But if I get stuck somewhere without a passport, whoever it is that I have to call back here in the States, I've got the information. I mean, if need be, I can fax a copy of my ID, the passport ID, to them, and that will help them look up whatever information and stuff they need a lot quicker than, well, we need a copy of your birth certificate, a copy of your current driver's license. We also need this, that, and the other thing. I mean, here's a passport. Look it up.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is,
and a copy of my driver's license.
Did you know, I don't know if you realized it or not, but the number on the passport is not the same as the number on the passport card, even though I ordered mine at the same time.
Yeah.
2 different IDs, different numbers.
And it may not work that way. I don't know, but that's just kind of, I would think that since it's an official
government document
or
ID,
issued by
the
same place that issues passports, they would be able to pull up the information a lot easier using their information. But hopefully we'll never have to find out.
Now to get the real ID, you have to either have all that other stuff and a bill for where you live and all that stuff, and your birth certificate, or you can just take a passport in. That's what I had, the passport card. I keep that with me all the time. So I was just like, this work? And they're like, absolutely. It's sweet. So
cool.
It's a whole lot easier having that in my little ID case along with my driver's license and work ID than it is to, carry that book around. Lord, you picked up my purse today. There ain't no more room in there.
Right. There wasn't any more room in that while back.
Surprised you didn't throw out your back when you picked it up and tried to hold it out.
Almost pulled the ligament in my arm. Trying to hold that thing out far enough for you to...
I don't have a problem. If I have surgery next week, I ain't going to be able to lift it. I'm going to have to go back to the tiny purse.
Yeah. She found out...
Yesterday.
Yeah, she's going to have surgery on your elbow and wrist.
And my wrist.
Yeah, she had an injury at work, and they're just, 6 months ago or something like that? And they're just, or
it'll
longer,
be a year in July.
Because of workers' comp and stuff like that. She's just now getting all the information back and getting some of the doctors. She still has to see a doctor for her neck and stuff. Yeah,
I have a bulging disc, all from the same. I tell you what, when I do something, I do it right.
Yeah.
I got a scar on my knee. It's about 2 inches long.
Not too bad. It's not like the government's workers' comp.
I don't know. I just want to get it done. I want to quit hurting. Tired of popping pills.
I can see why people abuse that.
On the government system?
Yeah. Yeah, they make it too. You can get up to 45 days off with 80% pay, tax free. And then if you get doctor's note, basically you're off with 80%, however long they tell you to take off, 80% of your pay tax free. And the place where I work at now, they have long-term disability, which is 80% of your pay, but then they take out the taxes and health insurance and stuff like that, and then you got to pay taxes on it at the end of the year. Whereas with the government, no. I mean, when they said 80%, you get 80% tax free, and they take absolutely nothing out of it. Your health insurance, your 401k, and all that stuff stop, and you don't lose it or anything like that because you're not making payments, but you're on workers' comp. So you don't have to worry about all that stuff, but you still get 80% of your pay tax free. So, I mean, I was on it for a while, and I actually made more money doing that than I did working. But I was glad to get back to work because I had to have 2 knee surgeries, and I was ready to go back. Oh, and then on top of that, the government, they will, on my knee surgery, they had me go to one of their doctors that rated me as 35% disabled on my knee after the surgery. And then so the workers' comp cut me a big old check based on my salary for 35%. And they'll cover up to 50%. So if I go back, since they basically own my knee, anytime I have a problem with this knee, they have to take care of it. So if I go back and they have to do surgery on it again, and then they rate me at 50%, I'll get the other 15% of my salary, or of a check based on my salary. And
At the time.
At that time, yeah. And the safety manager that was helping me with all the paperwork and stuff like that, he says, well, if you get rated for 50%, that would, they would cut you. That means they'd cut you a check for $146,000. And I was just like, what? But they rated, which they rated me at 35%. So that's, and I got a check for that. So if they ever do the other 15%, I'll get paid for that. So, and that's why I say I can see why people abuse that, because they will go out and get that pay and then get compensated. We had one lady that at the place where I worked, she was putting her feet up on the desk and fell out of the chair and hurt her back. And she was on workers' comp for over a year. And they told her that she either had to come back or medically retire. So she chose to come back, and the first chance she got, she went out again because she had to go qualify on the firearms range with an M16. She shot the M16 and said that she re-injured her back and then went out again.
Does it kick that much? I know a shotgun does.
No, that's what I couldn't understand. I mean, I think she was just, I'm pretty sure she was just playing the system, but that's just my opinion.
You could be wrong.
Had it been the 12 gauge shotgun, okay, I could see maybe her re-injuring her back, but it was the M16.
Didn't you just kind of like, and that's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's not much more than a 22.
Pew, pew.
There is a little bit more kick to it, but not much. But she re-injured her back.
She must not have held it in the sweet spot there in her shoulder where you're supposed to put it or something. I don't know.
She was looking for a reason to go out, and that gave it to her, in my opinion.
But you could be wrong.
I could be wrong. I very well could be wrong. Well, we've been on for about an hour, a little over an hour. So, and I know you're tired, and we've pretty much covered everything that we had planned on talking about.
Thought about a topic for next week. Am I going to be here next week?
I don't know. That's your schedule, not mine. Oh, hey, if anybody hasn't seen it yet, I got a video up from Hiroshima. It's only a couple minutes long, but it kind of depicts what happened on the day that they dropped the atom bomb, and kind of gives some facts and stuff that a lot of people didn't know about it. The video that we have, Lisa actually took a video of, they simulated what the town looked like and then simulated the bomb dropping, the explosion, what it did to the land and stuff like that afterwards. And I mean, we've got that in the video. It's actually, I think it's not, I mean, granted, it's my video, but I think it's a pretty good video. But so it's only 1 or 2 minutes long. So, I mean, feel free to look at it. And if you ever go visit Japan and go to Hiroshima, the Atomic Dome and the Peace Park is definitely worth going to.
Well, Naha, the Peace Park there.
Oh yeah.
That was amazing. But yeah.
Both those Peace Parks are just
definitely go to.
Should be a must see if you go to either one of those places. I don't even know how to describe them. I mean, it was just
somber, beautiful.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you think about what it represents, kind of like Oklahoma City bombing, right. It's a beautiful park and beautiful memorial. But when you think about what happens, it just tears your heart out,
Yeah, it's a shame that it came to that and that's what we had to do. But that was part of history, and
the city is thriving now.
Yeah,
and
they've rebuilt. And
it's beautiful community. Yeah, anywhere in Japan. I mean, we walked all over Tokyo. It felt like anyway, and we still didn't even see hardly anything. But I just can't believe how much, from the way you described Okinawa to what it looks like now. I mean, it's like a mini Tokyo. It is so busy and it's definitely a very, very business focused area. But it still maintained the uniqueness, like the funeral or the cemetery domes and all that stuff. That was all really cool. So I did listen to you.
Yeah.
I just don't remember what they're called right now.
They're family tombs.
That's it. I was gonna say I don't remember my name right now.
They're huge. I mean, they're these big concrete structures, and what it is it's basically a family grave, and it looks like a little. It's not really a dome, but it's kind of like a rounded. It's a rounded roof to it. And on the front, there's a flat place where the door is, and it's sealed. And they basically bury the entire family in these tombs. Anytime a family member dies, they put their remains and stuff like that in the container. I want to say like a vase, but I'm not sure if that's really what it is. And then they stack them. They put them in there and then reseal the door.
Oh, it's just like the cremation vases that we have here.
Yeah, but they're not cremated.
Oh, you said they put the remains in a vase. I just kind of thought. So it's not like a regular.
It's been so long. It seems like because unfortunately, as a kid, how you like to go exploring.
Please tell me you did not break into one of those.
We didn't break into them. We saw some that had the doors broken, and we went into them. And we saw vases or vases or I don't know, whatever they were. They were tall, but they were. And then we'd also see some that were broke where the bones were exposed.
That's bad juju.
We didn't break the doors. I mean, I'm sure it was probably some other not American, but some other foreigner over there, not
foreigner to Japan.
respecting their customs. I mean, granted, we weren't the perfect children when we were over there either. I mean, we did some stuff that I'm not real proud about, but I try to rack it up as that, you know, I was a kid. It's not an excuse, but definitely have better choices in my older age. Make better choices, more mature choices in my older age.
No, you chose me.
True. All right. Well, I guess we're going to call it quits for the night. It's been on for an hour, 25 minutes.
Well, if we save her 5 more minutes.
Well,
Oh,
I appreciate everybody that came in, and sorry I haven't been able to get on and watch everybody's videos and stuff like that, like we have in the past. But the job has kept me swamped. I usually and I come home and it's everything I can do to stay awake. Half the time I fall asleep, and then I wake up and it's time to go to bed. It's just, and then there's been nights that I didn't get to bed till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, turned around, got up at 5 o'clock and worked all day, and then came home and
did the same thing all over again.
sat down to rest a little bit, and I was out. Hopefully as I get caught up at work, which I'll be able to start watching videos and stuff like that and joining people's pages a little bit more often.
Yeah, and I'm working 7 at night my schedule is 7 at night to 7 in the morning. I'm doing that at least 5 days a week, and then plus, like tomorrow, I got to go in for a couple hours and work with somebody, and then Monday I'm on day shift because I have supervisor meeting I have to go to, and then I think Tuesday I go back to Pam's Tuesday night, and Wednesday I go back to overnights, and then Thursday I have surgery, and Friday, Saturday I'll be back on midnight. So I'm scheduled for 12 hours, but I'm working 15 to 17 a day. So I might have averaged 5 hours of sleep a day this week until yesterday, and I got 3. So
Right.
Apologies. I do have things running in the background while I'm working and pulling paperwork and stuff, but it's
I've done that with a couple, but the way my computer's set up, anybody that walks, they've got my computer set up to where my screen faces the hallway, and the speakers and stuff like that, I've tried several times. I mean, I've been able to do little things here and there, just not near as much as I would like to.
tell me you need a privacy screen since it
I
faces.
do, but I have privacy screens on them right now, but because when you stand in the door, you're literally looking straight at the screen. The privacy screen does absolutely no good because you're looking at it straight on.
I got you.
But we've got a new desk coming in, and I'm going to try to set my screens up. They bought me an L-shaped desk, so I'm going to try to move the screens to the corner by the file cabinet. And if that works, that I won't be facing my back won't be facing the door. The screens won't be facing the door. They'll actually be over on the other side and actually hidden a little bit behind in a square between the file cabinet and the wall.
I totally would not like my back to the door. My back is to the door, but I mean,
Well, when you got an office as small as I do, you ain't got much choice.
yeah.
I mean, I can literally sit in my desk chair and touch the door frame, reach across, and I'm about that far from touching the other wall in both directions.
How far is that?
About a
Down
foot.
here, we can't see.
About a foot, maybe a foot and a half.
If you're going to show it, you got to hold it up here.
Well,
Go.
anyway, it's not very big. All right. We will try to be back on next Saturday at 9 o'clock. I'll try to get a thumbnail up as soon as we can come up with a topic.
Well, if I'm gonna be here, I might have one, but I don't know if I'm gonna be here.
Okay.
I gotta look at the schedule.
All right.
I don't know for sure what time I work Monday, so I gotta look at the schedule.
Okay. All right. Well, we will go ahead and sign off for the night. And we hope, again, we thank everybody for coming in and watching and supporting us. We really appreciate it.
And you're getting close on them hours, aren't you?
Well, I'm at 2,600 and something.
Oh, okay.
It's just slowly building. That promotion that I did through YouTube where I got all those fake subscribers, which I had no idea that that's what was going to happen. It was a YouTube deal. I thought it was a YouTube promotion. And I think that's actually hurt my channel more than anything else because but anyway, I think it's hurt more than it helped.
Yeah, well, you need to get some videos up.
Yeah.
More often. You've gotten a couple up from the cruise. We had some lives and stuff. And again, if you saw our lives and we were just like, blah, blah, blah. We were
Tired.
15-hour time difference, been on a plane, then moving forward an hour every day, here and there. And it took a toll on us. So last week we explained all that. And,
if it seemed like we were just
we really did enjoy
Mr.
the
and
cruise.
Mrs. Krabby for the cruise. We did enjoy it. We were just, like she said, we were just tired.
We had SpongeBob for a neighbor, and we were so Krabby Patties.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we really did enjoy the cruise, and looking forward to doing it again at some point, just not anytime soon. I don't want that many sea days in a row. They talk about these cruises to nowhere. I like the ports. I like being able to go and visit the new cultures and stuff. That's why I enjoy cruising. If I'm going to stay in the same situation or scenario for 7 to 10, 14 days, then might as well do, the all-inclusive beach resort somewhere or something.
Yeah, because that was pretty much 2 weeks on the water that we were on the water. No ports. It's like 5 or 6 from Brisbane to Guam.
Guam was day 8.
And
So it
then
was 7 days, and then
7 days from Japan to
Latvia.
Alaska.
Kind of
So that's
sad we
basically
didn't
2
do.
weeks.
Kind of sad we didn't do the Bering Sea, but I'm kind of glad because I've watched Deadliest Catch, and I didn't want to be on that rocky boat like that. But you shake your head. They were storming up there.
Yeah.
That's not why we didn't go up there, but it was
Right.
storming up there.
Yeah, they'd do a meta flight, so they had to take a direct path instead of going up around the islands like they normally did. They just cut straight across.
I wonder how they would have gone up and out of the way like that anyway, just to make the trip longer.
Possibly. Well, I think too, they said there was a storm up there too, that there was a combination of a storm being up in that area as well as having to trying to get to the Coast Guard as quick as they could to get that person off the ship.
Yeah, and it was the Aleutian Islands where they took them off, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, I thought it was the Coast Guard from Seward.
Well, in the Aleutian Islands, American territory.
Don't get me to line, I'm not sure.
I thought the naturalist said that.
I think she did, but it doesn't necessarily mean they all have Coast Guard outposts out there. We had to get close enough to one that had a helicopter to come out and meet the ship.
And I don't remember in any of those ports seeing. I saw the Japanese Coast Guard in one of the ports, but I don't remember seeing ours. Even in Seattle, I don't remember seeing them. Of course, I didn't look real hard either. But
Right.
that's always my thing is taking pictures of the Coast Guard ships. I don't know why they all look the same, whether it's in Galveston or,
Right.
Alaska. I drew a blank. I saw lots of them last year in Hawaii, though. That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. All right. Well, we're going to try one more time. We will
What if we go 25 more minutes?
No, I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. No.
Yeah, I'm not going to make it 25 more minutes. So
All right.
thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks everybody. And we hope to see you again soon. Hopefully next Saturday we'll be here 9:00 again, Central Time. Until then, y'all have a great weekend. Stay safe and be careful. Bye.
Bye, everybody.